As we start and continue Beis Beis in our Amud Yomi together with Dirshu, we're starting on the bottom of Daf Beis Aleph, obviously for the schus of the soldiers and Mir Hashem that the captives should be returned to their families very soon. So the Gemara had said that that the Kohanim can eat the truma right after Tzeta Kochavim in Kaparas Lo Ma'akva, 3 lines from the bottom of Beis Aleph, that they were Tameh of a Zava or a Mitzora, so you have to bring Korbanos on the next day. It's not Ma'akev. Kiditanya, as the bright that said, Uva Shemesh V'Taher, and it says Bia Shimsho Ma'akav Tohu. All we need is the sunset. Melechel Truma. But Ve'in Kaparos Ma'akav Melechel B'Truma. That's what we ended off with yesterday. Asked the Gemara, Mimai Dehai Uva Shemesh Bias Hashemesh, and Habahai V'Taher Tariyoma. How do you know that the Ba is the sunset and the Taher is that the day has been finished? As we turn to Beis Beis, Dilma Bias Orahu. Maybe it means that the day of the 8th day is coming, and V'Tara means the Tar Gavra, i.e., bringing of the Karbanos, and only then he could eat. So Amar Rabbi Bar Shila, the second line, in Cain, if that would be true, Lema Kra, the pasuk should have said V'Yitar, right? And my V'Taher, V'Hashemesh V'Taher, is talking about Taher Yoma. V'Yitar, as Rashi said, the high Kra V'Taher is Lashon Tzivoyu. Name Kra V'Yitar, what does it mean V'Taher? That it's the Taher, the day is Taher. The day is complete and purified. Kedamri Inshi, Iriv Shimsha V'Itke Yoma. That the Itke means is, again, the sun went down, and the Itke, as Rashi says, Nitpanem in Olam, the Avar, the Shemesh, is gone. This whole discussion in Eretz Yisrael, they didn't have it. They didn't have this breita. The Ma'arava, 4th line, Hadarabba Barav Shila Lo Shmilahu. They didn't hear this whole discussion. And they asked the questions themselves. They said, Uva Shemesh, is it Bias Shimshahu? My Vitayr is a Tayr Yom, or Dilma Bias Oruhu? My Vitayr Tayr Gavra? The same question. V'hadeh Pashalom from the following brisa. Midektani Brisa, similar Davar, Tzeis HaKochavim. So Shmamina, what is it? It's Bias Shimshahu. My Vitayr is Tayr Yom. 2 dots. We had learned in the Gemara, in the Mishnah, that when do you have the Kriyat Shema nighttime? That was the only start time that we had in the Mishnah. Our Gemara is going to bring different formulations of the start time and then one other time of the end time. Or minhu, we have a bright. When the ani came in to eat his bread with melech, they didn't have a lot of food. Right, and it's ad sha'ah shomedli pater mitoch suda. So really, it's like a couple minutes until he leaves the suda. So that's why the Gemara says seifa vade pligam amas nisan. This seifa, the end time, is for sure arguing on their Mishnah. If you remember from yesterday, the earliest din of shachvacha was Rabbi Eliezer Shita, which was Ashmura Rishona, which was the Shlish Laila. So here, this for sure argues because that was the earliest time besides Seisa Kochavim and Amud HaShachar. The question about the ratio and the language of the beginning time of Kriyat Shema is the ani nichnas lecho pita v'melach. Does that argue mi lema? Does ratio mi lema pliga mesnisin? Does it argue? Are these 2 different times? So the Gemara at the beginning says no. Ani v'koin chad shir. It's the exact same time of tzeta kochavim, Kohanim coming to eat the truma, and the ani nichnas lecho pita v'melach. Ask the Gemara, really, or minu? Is this really true? So we have discussed with Machlokas Rameir and Chacham. Rameir says, "Mishosh b'nei nechasim lecho piton be'arvei Shabbosos divrameir," because everything would be prepared already, so it'd be early on. The Chachamim omrim again, "Mishosh hakonim zakayim lechol bitrumatan." Similar davar it says kochavim. Va'afa pishein ra'il davar that it says kochavim, but it's a zeichel davar. And he quotes 2 psukim in Nehemiah chapter 4. Shnemar v'nachlo sim b'malacha. And also says, it why do I need the second pasuk of Omer? My Omer, maybe they worked hard. They got up early and they worked late. That they go later and earlier. Tashma, that's why the second pasuk, no, Mishmar Vayom Malacha. And therefore, what? That is Laila and Yom of Alot HaShachar and Tzeit HaKochavim. But the point is here, what the Gemara now says is what? So again, Kasal Kadaitach, Kasal Kadaitach Ta'anyu B'nei Adam Chad Shiuruhu. The Havamina again is that Ani and the B'nei Adam coming to Arvei Shabbosos is the exact same thing. And if it's true, Ani v'Kohen, like you had just said, we said it's the exact same shir, Chad Shiruhu, this is not a machlokas Chachamim Rameir, it's the same thing, Chachamim Hain Rameir. Ala Shmamina, Ani Shir L'chud and Kohen Shir L'chud. So it's different. Ani is the same, is the different shir. The Gemara says, lo, no, Ani v'Kohen is Chad Shiruhu, but Ani B'nei Adam lav Chad Shiruhu. The Ani B'nei Adam, this is a concept of what Rameir had said, of the B'nei Adam coming, B'nei Adam nechnasim lechal pitam b'arvei shabbosos, that is different than the Ani. The Gemara says, for Ani v'Kohen Chad Shiur, it's really the same time of Tzeis HaKochavim Maraminu. Again, another bright Me'ematam atchilim nekrot shma b'arvei mishosh kiddush hayom b'arvei shabbosos de Rebbe Elazar, which is by Ben Hashmashos. So how Rav Soloveitchik explained it, it's not a Suffolk Laila, but it has dinim of a Laila to be Kriyat Shema. So that's earlier than Tzeis. Rabbi Shua Omer Mishash Kohanim Mituarim Lechol B'Tchumasam, which is identical to our Mishnah. Rabbi Omer Mishash Kohanim Tovlim, which is a little bit earlier. Lechol B'Tchumasam. Omer Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda argues on Rameir. How can that be? It's earlier. Val Kohanim Bibod Yomim Tovlim, and that wouldn't be good for Laila. Rav Chanin is the last opinion. Again, Mishash Ani Nechnas Lechol Pito B'Melach. Rav Achai V'Rav Acha Omer Mishash Sharo B'nei Adam Nichnasim Lehesev to come eat. If you're going to tell me Ani v'Kohen is Chad Shiuruhu, so then Rav Chanina is the exact same thing as Rabbi Yeshua. Lav Shmamina Shiur Da'ani L'chud Shiurim to Kohen L'chud, different Shiurim Shmamina. Ask the Gemara which one's later. Haiminayu Me'uchar, which one's later? Is it the Ani Nichnas Lechol Pita B'Melach, or is it the Kohanim? Mistaber Da'ani Me'uchar. The Yam is Da'ani Muktam. Then it's Rav Chanina is the same as Rabbi Elazar. Lav Shmamina Da'ani Me'uchar Shmamina. We will continue tomorrow with Gimel and Aleph, starting with the discussion between Rabbi Meir and this Breita between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda.